You're live. I'm gonna let you do the introduction this time.
Oh boy. All right. Welcome back to the Culture Canvas live stream, ladies and gents, and everyone else. We got a banger for you today. It's gonna be a good one. We got some fun articles pulled up to go through. Talking about the market. Gonna do some analysis there. We got some fashion art crossover news we want to talk about, and then we also have some artists to highlight and kind of just see who's having a breakout this fall. So yeah, let's without any further ado, let's
Well,
jump.
yeah, it's interesting. I think the two artist articles, the one about cause and then the one about the eight upcoming artists that they're featuring this month. I feel like they do that pretty regularly. I sort of saw some others that was like, feed the five artists to pay attention to, eight artists to pay attention to. So it's like they're kind of like promoting those artists and sort of featuring them, but it's probably based off some pretty interesting data. And I was reading what we did last, but it's interesting to contrast that with like those sort of like breakout artists versus cause, who's like a very well established pop cultural figure doing this sort of collaboration. So I was just thinking that was just like the first thing I thought about. And then, how that sort of those are different spectrums of the industry, like in a way.
100%. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Other fun fact, which is kind of random, but I was listening to the new Clips album, introduced a little music culture in. Clips album cover art was designed by Cause. It's like a Cause Clips collaboration. Yeah, shout out to Clips, shout out to Cause again, and they have like merch and stuff too. So he's got all kinds of partnerships. It's coming out the woodworks, which is cool to see. And the album's fire, by the way. So check that out. But
Yeah, I'll have to
no.
check it out as well. All right, so let's jump into this U.S. art market is rethinking its future for the better. I feel like we're it's hard. Like the market was hit hard last year, or it's not even just last year. It's been like a rough time. So a lot of the articles we have, we're trying to contrast that with some positive news with upcoming artists and some really great stuff. And you know, sort of discussing like the more difficult part, which is, rethinking its future for the better, because it kind of has been not too easy.
I feel like this article, again, kind of like some of the others we discussed, though, like the Kenny Schachter one, they talk about some of the doom and gloom that you see in the market around galleries, but there's always like kind of a positive spin. Obviously we're going to jump into this now, but I like how he kind of wrapped this up, but let's get it, man. How should we do this?
Yeah, I'll start right off the bat. I'm gonna read it
Okay.
because just to refresh it's like a day turnaround. Like I just like went through these so quick. The summer is usually the quietest season for the art market, but the dog days of 2025 may prove to be among the most memorable in recent history. In the space of just a few weeks, four prominent U.S. galleries announced they would cease operations in their current forms. The Tim Bloom, that one we can talk about more. I have an article because in that first Ralph DeLuca article that we were reading on Tuesday, you know, when it talked about some of the galleries, it listed the Tim Bloom Gallery, which is like,
Hmm.
he's been around for 30 years. So it's like a big shock, to the industry, one of those people. But it shuttered, Tim Bloom shuttered his influential namesake gallery after 3 decades in business.
Yeah,
Yeah, 3 decades.
yeah.
Adam Lindemann closed his heavyweight gallery, Venus over Manhattan, and Oliver Babin confirmed the end of clearing, uh, his taste-making gallery that skyrocketed from brick and mortar in Bushwick to international acclaim. And then they have more about the Casman Gallery,
Yeah.
closed after 35 years as well. You guys are, yeah.
Yeah. Funny, of the four that they mentioned, I'm familiar with Venus over Manhattan and Casman. I'm not too familiar with Clearing. And to your point, Tim Bloom, I've just seen in some of the other articles, so getting more familiar with him. But yeah, that was just something that stood out with some of those.
I mean, do you notice any trends about like the type of work that those two galleries worked on? and we're dealing.
I not that's not not really through like my lens, yeah, and I'm more on the opposite side of things. So, the gallery side, I couldn't tell you exactly, who they're showing or why they might, have had some success or whatever. But
I just wanted to take a look.
yeah,
Robert Loeb. Oh yeah, I've seen this artist.
yeah.
Sri Samba.
Ooh,
This guy, this work. I'm not familiar with it, but I've seen it before.
you're not sharing your screen, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, nah, it's just you and me, man, face to
It's not
face.
sharing.
Not at this moment.
Really?
Oh
It's
man,
supposed to
just good to see your beautiful face, bro.
be. Thanks.
I'm not mad at.
Let's see what's going on. What about now?
Still just your pretty face, bro.
Just me?
I mean, I'm in
Not
there,
even
I
both
think.
of us?
I see my window as well. Is it just me? Technical difficulties. I can keep reading
Yeah.
the article.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah,
Oh,
I
there
had
you go.
opened another
There
article
we go. It's
about
lit.
Venus over Manhattan, dedicated to illuminating the work of a diverse range of historical and contemporary artists through dynamic, rotating exhibitions and scholarly publications. I feel like we could talk a lot about how galleries are working and representing. Oh, Peter Saul. Yeah, I know some. Richard Mayhew.
Oh,
These are, yeah, these artists have been around for a long time. Peter Saul has like these political sort of pivots, I think. They're sort of like of the 60s, very
oh,
political
that's cool.
caricature type, like
Word.
melting uh stuff.
I dig this. Yeah, this is cool. I don't think I'm too familiar with Peter Saul, actually.
Well, he's been paying for a while.
Oh yeah, shout out to Peter.
Under colorful, cartoony works that explore the depths of American depravity. Yeah, I'd say so.
Nice.
Yeah. Is still pushing the boundaries, but enjoys quiet afternoons on his porch. Okay. Well, let's get back. Let's keep. Uh,
Peter Saul's autobiography.
I think. Oh, that was another thing because I think it talks about like the different ways that galleries were sort of like trying to make their way through the difficult time. Like the Casman Gallery closed its doors to make way for Olney and Gleason, who, under the leadership of Nick Olney and Eric Gleason, who I believe are this guy in the picture down here. These two gentlemen that are here somewhere. This
Yeah,
article is a lot longer than I thought.
is that them? Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, good call. Yeah, I mean it's they talk about how, I mean, if you, as we're going down, just like it says, to conflate each case would be misleading. Each move reflects the unique circumstances. Like essentially, everyone talks doom, or some of the narrative is doom and gloom. All the galleries are struggling. In reality, it's like, they're all kind of their own unique situations. To your point, Casman's closing, but for a specific reason to kind of, rebrand isn't the right word, but just, like strategically, find ways of moving forward. Whereas some others really are like closing because they're bankrupt or overhead pricing is too expensive in the city, or things of that nature. So yeah, I think that was again just another good takeaway. Or it's not like, look out, like it's easy to group all these things together, like everyone is suffering and everything's on fire, which, you know to some extent, like that is the case, but
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
has their kind of circumstances, as it says there. So I like that takeaway.
Yeah, I think bigger galleries are sort of faring a little bit better than the mid-sized gallery, is what I gathered from like some of the research and the article and things like just because they have the overhead. I was asking ChatGPT about like the 50% mark that we
Yeah.
brought up last time. Because this kind of each reflects its own unique circumstances. Like Casman is doing something different, and like a gallery like Babin is dealing with crushing overhead, in multiple cities,
Mhm.
operation. Or then there's simply the fatigue and pressure of the business. I mean, yeah, that I think a lot of the industry is dealing with that. Uh,
It
but I
takes,
did this. What's up?
okay.
Yeah, I did. It did say like bigger galleries are doing okay, while the mid-sized galleries are really struggling, which because of the overhead. And we kind of like, we're joking, making like joke of like because in the DeLuca in the Las Vegas article, he talks about the 50% margins and how like galleries are operating at 50% margins while
That's a
supermarkets.
Schechter article, I think, bro.
Was it the Schechter?
Yeah, where he's talking like
Yeah, you're right.
2% margin for groceries, but 50% for galleries or something like that.
Yeah, in that article, like it sort of like might make you think that that should be easy. I mean, I think like generally speaking, both those articles, I was confusing them, are like a call to arms. Like let's you're already operating at 50% margins. Let's be clever and figure out a way to support the arts and keep it moving forward. But a lot of the art industry is in New York. And New York is a very expensive place to operate a business.
You ain't
And
never
so exactly. And so it's like even if and some galleries do pay for, their artists' supplies and things, or will cover some of those, split those costs depending on the circumstances. I think those deals happen. But even if you are talking about like 50% margins and you don't have to put anything up front, you're talking about like there's New York City is the operational place of a large, like you might call it the heart of the art market. And so if
yeah.
that's true, then you're talking about operating in a space. And I mean, most of the galleries are always pretty much, frequently in cities, except for maybe like certain niche types of galleries where you find them outside the city. But there's a concentration. I looked up 750, I think 750 galleries, 750 to double that. Like
Wow.
1,400 was like some of the estimates, depending on how you're breaking up the gallery versus like, individual sellers and things like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a huge number. Uh, Very competitive, all in one place,
Mhm.
super expensive rents. Every staff member needs,
It's a
So
lot.
I, yeah, it like it
Absolutely.
sounds like 50% sounds amazing until you realize like where this has to happen or where a lot of this this trade is happening.
Definitely.
I guess we continue.
Yeah, let's keep running through the article.
Keep running. Yeah. Galleries get grouped into like the galleries are closing. Wait, what? The galleries are opening, but each one's a little different. But they're all ego driven and nobody wants to close. Well, that's obvious. The mid-size. But every gallery in the world will eventually close. The only question is when. That's true.
Yeah.
One of the galleries that I have exposure to, they have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're very financially savvy, I think. So, and I think you have to be at the end of the day.
Yeah. What else? Each of this is. I like this part in the new in the article in the paragraph just below where they talk about like is the pace of exhibitions and events unsustainable for galleries? Where are the new art buyers? Is the gallery system itself fit for purpose in its current form? These are just some of the issues that have come in public view recently, and they're not particularly pronounced in the U.S. and they're particularly pronounced in the U.S. market, which has been the main focus of recent events. So again, just kind of back to the like that Shachter article, like how do we move forward from this kind of stuff, which I think as we keep going down the article, they do a good job of, I don't know, just, inviting more ideas and conversation in.
Well, I mean, the pace did jump up. The Las Vegas article, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I feel like, or one of the articles mentioned how like, there didn't used to be an Art Basel in every city sort of vibes. And so like these festivals, like they expanded, and a lot of galleries, I think, attempted to expand with like that sort of move fast and break things attitude to try to keep up with the opportunity. It's just an opportunity. And so you have this place where it's like, is the pace of exhibitions, and events unsustainable? Another big cost to the overhead of galleries is getting into the festivals. Some of these festivals, I think I saw cost like hundreds of thousands of dollars or a
Wow.
hundred thousand dollars. Yeah.
Just to
Like
show.
I think 5 or 10 thousand dollars might be an average for these big ones, but like they can go upwards, I believe. Don't quote me, but I think it gets really expensive to get a space just to show your artists. And so if you don't make quota
Yeah.
when you pay these sort of absorbent fees, that's where the small guys are getting crushed.
Yeah.
Uh, but the pace, I think, is destroying everyone, right? It did Bloom 30 years. I don't think he was thought of as a small guy or small operation. He was kind of, you know, a big fish in this thing.
Yeah.
And you still see like the pace of it being unsustainable. And also the pace for newness is a problem.
So newness is a problem.
I don't know. I
Like
don't
it's
want to
always
say
trying to
that.
break like the next
Exhaust.
big thing type situation, or is that what
It's
you
a
mean?
part of it. It's a part of the industry. It's part of the like that's a part of the art industry is, you know, keeping up with trends, displaying new artists.
That's right. I think, yeah, I mean, to your point, it's, I mean, it's like, it's almost like, again, well, again, like as we go through the article, I have some other ideas about some other things you mentioned, but like, it's like a pruning almost of unsustainable models versus, like everything else, I guess, like a necessary pruning almost. So yeah, the collapse and reconfiguration of established institutions.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. It's the culling of the herd.
Yeah.
And it's kind of you don't want anyone to be culled or pruned, but it's a natural process in, a capitalist economy. And New York is one of the most fiercest. The art industry is one of the most abstract, so it makes sense.
Let's
You're
keep going
gonna
through this article, bro.
what?
Let's keep going through this article.
Yeah. But taken together, these discussions may be less about decline than they are about those in the art world who choose to look forward.
There you go.
She's looked for. This is not the first time American art industry has found itself in such a period of introspection. And he says the 90s sharp recession, the great massacre of the 1990, 2008, and as recently as 2016. So, these things happen. Like
Yeah.
a recession. We've had, and I mean, for instance, 2008 recession.
Yeah.
Uh, 2016, I think there was a bit of a or at least they would have called it stagflation, depending on who you're listening to. But it wasn't like things were booming during those years. That makes difference. And 90s, you're talking crashes and recessions as well. So,
Yes, we got
oh yeah, they mentioned it here.
financial crisis 2008, global diversification. Crisis. I mean, this is an interesting paragraph too. Like how how we engage with the art shifts. The crisis also accelerated early digital experiments such as Artsy and strengthened the financing of art through auction guarantees and art funds. That's pretty interesting. And then these shifts not only stabilized the market, but also laid the groundwork for innovations that define later downturns, such as the widespread adoption of virtual sales during COVID-19 and even the rise of NFTs. And I feel like it's weird because we're still kind of like in that, like COVID is over and past more or less. Obviously, you know, there's still repercussions, but like the things that kind of came to light during COVID and those trends still kind of persist, which is and you know
Yeah.
NFT is still a thing. You know what I'm saying? And so we're
Yeah,
like,
we can have a whole discussion on NFTs, but that's for another time.
yeah,
Uh, I agree with you. Like it's those trends are probably going to be important for a long time, you know. Uh, NFTs are they're wild.
they are.
That's an interesting concept. Uh,
This
you read or,
I was just gonna say no. This what'd you say?
yeah.
No, this part of the article I feel like is where I've kind of started to get a little excited because they start to talk about the difference in like buyers, like you know the like you know he says the underlying backdrop today, while not as severe, bears some similarities. Industry at large, the U.S. market is in a recognized downturn. Top level auction dealer sales have declined. It's something we're aware of. Some people who bought 200 works a year now buy 40. Clearings Babin said that's an 80% drop, but it's still substantial. You know, there's a lot of stuff. For American galleries, this softening is occurring as business costs rise, a persistent factor that has been affecting galleries in districts such as downtown New York. That's what we were talking about. Overhead in New York is expensive. It's definitely
Tribeca.
one
Yeah.
exactly. You know all the galleries.
You can Jay-Z might stop in on his way to the supermarket, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Since the pandemic, overhead and the cost of operating have effectively doubled. Art advisor Alex Glauber told Artsy, sustaining cash flow and covering overheads month to month, that number's gotten bigger and the inflow of cash has gotten smaller. It's in this context that many are in a reflective mood when thinking about the sustainability of current business structures in a fast changing climate, which includes larger political and economic issues in the mix. That combination of factors was a large part of why the ADAA decided to postpone their 2025 fair, according to its director, Kinsey Robb. Uh,
You're down here.
yeah, sorry, I was skipping through.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just I'm trying to find the part in the article where they kind of dig in a little bit deeper to the different types of buyers. That was interesting to me because you know, I'm again like looking forward, getting a little ahead of myself with the article because we're not quite there
Yeah.
yet. You know, looking forward, you know, again, it's we've heard the doom and gloom, we've heard the different things, and now it's like, all right, so how do we move forward? And as you know, I like the idea of like new buyers, and you know, the idea of you know democratizing the art world, kind of, which we'll touch on more in the cause kind of collab thing. There's like a funny little parallel there, I think, but yeah, that was just one of the notes I had about like you know because you got all the people like the art collectors who are you know seeking new thing you know old masters and different things and but you know a new generation of buyers is coming into the, you know and it's like how do we continue to generate excitement and like you know
About old masters?
I mean, just about everything in general. Like everyone can engage with this stuff, you know. And I think that as some of these institutional giant galleries might be struggling or shuttering, you know, or you know, maybe some of the smaller ones with more affordable art, you know, from lesser known artists, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm not sure. Like I feel like there's just some kind of balance maybe that could happen where again there's an influx of new buyers and people coming into the industry who might not, have been involved in other ways, because they always saw it as too, expensive or too, gated or whatever the case you want to be, So I don't know. Again, getting ahead of
No,
myself.
I, no, I agree with it. I think about this all the time. Like, because is the gallery system itself fit for purpose in its current form? Art is like, it's an interesting trade that's very niche that everyone engages with. And
Word.
so, like, I don't know. it is interesting, right? Like, because you do have like these emerging artists who many people might not be fully aware of unless you're like, in the zone, reading about these things, trying to support that and cultivate that, for future generations. You also have old master stuff. Like that stuff, I think can always make a comeback like dinosaur cell, like dinosaur fossil or something. That's how
Exactly.
I think is that you never know when someone's gonna want an old master between like their cause sculpture, and their, Peter's soul painting or something. They want it there on their salon. Well, you don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And yeah, and you do have cause. And that's just another aspect of the commercialized pop cultural part of it. Uh,
What else?
80% drop. Man, that's crazy.
What
Uh,
else? What else? Uh,
it may be important to note the Art Dealers Association of America. That's who they're talking about when they talk about the ADAA.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they've been around for quite a while. Important organization.
I mean, they say it this in this paragraph that you're on right there, that last line for the ADAA. This has been a moment to take stock, to ask what works, what must evolve. Again, like all everyone's in this boat of like, what is working, and what do we need to change? Like for real, like I don't know. That's exciting to me. Again, as we get a little further, I can keep reading if you want.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, keep going.
Lindemann wanted to stack or take stock when he felt the gallery could no longer provide what he wanted for his clients and artists. The gallery is something that needs continuity, he said. When I can no longer provide that continuity, I closed. Good galleries have to support their artists and their markets, and that requires a lot of mojo. Kind of what we were saying, just aside from the overhead, in a place like New York or any other major city, there's just a lot of energy and effort that is required to run these things. But for others, this moment is an opportunity to reconsider the fundamentals. Shout out to Casman. As Casman transitions into Olney Gleason, its figureheads made clear that they want to slow the pace and refocus. Let's go. There's been a large focus on a lot of extraneous elements of our industry for the last many years, Gleason told Artsy. Whatever correction has happened, this has realigned a lot of things we've kept all along, such as maintaining a very strict focus on our artists. I love that sentiment. It's about the artists, it should be about the artists rather, their art, their product, what they're giving to the world, and like, using your platform to lift them up. So I really like that, that take, and shout out to Tasman for focusing on the artists. And I did have like a little like, are we entering a phase where quality, slow growth, and deeper engagement matters more than quantity of shows and fast returns? Kind of like what we talked about on the last stream, like I don't know, man. I'm into it. As wicked as it is out there right now, something good's got to come from it. That's my optimistic attitude.
I mean, I think people are adapting and you're seeing that. And we only got 15 more minutes. So we gotta
So,
get
yeah.
on to the next.
All right.
Did 7:30, 7:45. We could next time do like seven, maybe. It's tough. I'm always worried I might be late,
No worries. I'll just sit here
but,
stare at the camera by myself.
but,
We can let me. Can I read the last little paragraph on this one and
oh, yeah,
keep it
of
rolling?
course. Yeah, do your thing. Where are we?
I'll do this. All right. Yeah. I mean, last thing, just to wrap it up. So while many are keen to talk things down, the reality is more nuanced. Indeed, this isn't the first time the U.S. art market has asked itself such questions. The art world has an enormous capacity for reinvention, said Rob. Amen. We're all creative. Amen. We're representing creatives. Amen. We're creative in
Preach.
our own ways. Amen. This is an opportunity for some exciting change to take shape. Like that's really kind of the essence of it for me too. Like, it's a creative industry. We're gonna sit here and just keep crying about it, or are we gonna get creative about how to move forward and keep things rolling? So that's my last thing.
Max,
Keep it rolling.
Maxwell. All right. 8 artists having a breakout moment this fall. This is as of September. This is their September 12th edition.
Yeah, it's pretty cool artists in here.
Yeah, was there anything that struck you?
A lot of it, you know.
Artists want to discuss? I had one that like kind of piqued my interest. I have a few. I like a lot of them.
Same. Go ahead, bro. I'll let
I
you.
didn't get to dig too much. No, you go first. You.
Funny enough, the Sasha Gordon ones kind of like struck me. Those, those it,
That
right? I
was
don't know what it is,
yeah.
but there's just something about it that's really kind of fun and like
the
raw,
per
real.
the the personality thing. I think she says there's like some commentary about personality, right?
Yeah, it's
Did I skip it? Oh yeah, here it is.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, even like the style is good.
exactly. Yeah,
Aussie, lifelike oil paintings.
yeah, it's dope. I dig these.
They employ her own image, various alter egos to
Alter-
communicate her inner turmoil in horror film like fashion.
Awesome.
Yeah, I feel this way sometimes.
Yeah. Thanks. Funny enough, I also what was it the Andrea Carlson's work was pretty interesting just because like I kind of look at it and I'm like, what am anytime I'm looking at something, it's like, what am I looking at? It's towards the bottom.
Andrew Clausen? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I gotta sneeze.
Oh, you good, do your thing. What else? The Sonia Boyce, that one was interesting too. She does like some like multimedia. It's like a silent disco kind of thing. I clicked.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
that one was cool too. I was like, oh, this is pretty fun.
Yeah, the mixed media.
Yeah, it just looks like really immersive. Like when you go and there's like people listening to sound footage of people listening to silent disco with photos too, I think, or something. It just seems really kind of immersive and cool. And I think what's it called? So improvise with what we have, which I am a fan of too, especially in this day and age. Kind of just like, I don't know, just it felt kind of loose and fun, not too overthought or complicated, which was cool.
I mean, a part of it, I think a part of like what makes good art, at least for me, is when it strikes a chord with like contemporary feelings that people have. Like a good poem, if you read like a good poem, like like in abstract, the title and the lines don't, by themselves, like maybe say anything, but you read them all together and you have like the image and you're like shocked. You're like, oh, whoa, you just put an image in my head. None of that made sense. And so I think when people are able to capture the moment, she seems to be doing this with her artwork. I definitely feel that about it, but I haven't experienced it yet. So
Yeah.
uh,
Lastly, on this page, I'll shout out, I think the very last one, Gabrielle Garland. Her like the zany kind of like, even the titles of the works kind of.
oh, the Oscar Carlson you mentioned earlier, right?
Andrea Carlson was what I mentioned again, just because I'm like looking at it, like, what am I looking at? You know, obviously it shows like a little clip, photo of her kind of making it, but I don't know, it just looked pretty interesting.
Well, like before we go on to like the other paintings, like I noticed like a trend. Like there's like emerging artists, and then there's like well-established artists, which, that's like someone else. And then there's like mid-career artists. And I
Mhm.
saw somewhere, I believe it says that she's having um a mid-career survey. I like these definitions. Like I feel like a part of what we're trying to do is like clarify certain jargon in the industry and language and vocabulary that like I don't know a lot of it. Like buy-in, that one's obvious.
Yeah,
Buy-in path a little more complicated or
yeah.
something. But mid-career survey is like an actual sort of like term for like that artist. Like I just thought it was an interesting thing. I was like, what do they mean mid-career survey? Like, does she take the survey? Do you take a y'all take a survey about? But it's like a presentation of her career for a community or institution organization. It's just
Ah, interesting.
assess. And so this is a well-established artist, and you can definitely sort of, I got that vibe, like a mature artist from when I was like looking her up. Uh, oh, and then you said Gabrielle Garland with the
Yeah,
houses.
Yeah, the house
Great.
is like quirky, dream like they're like I don't know, man. It's like almost like you're tripping on mushrooms or something looking at those, you know.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like ever so distorted, and you're like, oh man, this is wild. Like you feel like you could just look at them for a long time. The ratios and the perspectives and things that just kind of stood out to me too. That was really cool.
Uh, I wanted to go to this Ding Yi
Oh yeah,
because he's interesting. Like I was reading a little bit about his backstory
hmm.
because he grew up during the Cultural Revolution. And I think I was wondering about why he has like crosses in his art.
Yeah, I just saw that actually.
Yeah, you saw that, and I was like, "What's up with this?" And I thought it was just. I always find it interesting, the way like maybe Chinese culture incorporates Western culture in some way. But yeah, this guy, I mean, he grew up during the Cultural Revolution, and it says how does the uniquely non-linear curriculum included making bricks for bomb shelters, drawing propaganda posters, performing in public spaces, and studying design and Chinese ink painting. He went to art school and he's he's a formally trained artist. Bombs, bricks for bombs?
Yeah, that's wild.
Trying, and then the the propaganda, of course, some of that stuff's actually kind of cool, but at least cool to look at. Doesn't so much fly depending on who you are in the West. But yeah, no, this guy I think has like a very probably like I'd love to sit down with someone like this and like talk to them like about like the history and how their art is informed by those things.
Yeah.
So that was just something I thought was really kind of interesting. You dive into any one of these artists and they have like these amazing
They
sort of
do.
like stories to tell, and you can see it in their art.
100%. Shout out to the emerging artists out there.
Yeah. Getting, first shows, their first solo shows, like a lot of these people, like I think on the list.
I
So
think
they
so.
did
Yeah. I mean,
shows, now they're doing solo shows
yeah,
at major places like the Whitney Museum.
it's a big
David Zwerner. You know Zwerner, right? The Zwerner Gallery?
designer. Yeah, yeah. It's awesome though. So it seems like they all kind of are having like movement across geography as well. Like they started in one place and now they're doing, like expanding their, reach. So it's always positive.
Beautiful pattern work here.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about her as well. I just like I could just see those like interior design, like they're just so aesthetically pleasing. I think really nice. How much time we got left, bro?
Like 5 minutes.
Are we going to 8:15?
Learn-
Should we
What's
do the
up?
cause?
Huh? Yeah, we got time. Just we talked about cause this entire time. There's nothing. Third article. It's basically hype stuff. I found like all these other really interesting articles too that I wanted to share, but we could be on here all night. Uh,
Save the other ones for the future episodes, I guess.
yeah, save the other ones for the future
I mean,
episodes.
the cause one, I had some, and we only got
Yeah,
a few minutes. We could just chop it up real quick because it did raise some interesting things. Again, as I kind of mentioned, what was it? About like new democratizing art. There you go. So, uh,
yeah, let's do it. I think that article mentions. That's why I just got like slowed down because I saw this whole blue chip because
yeah,
she's in like another stage where she's becoming, now a solo exhibition this fall at the White Cube in London moves her into blue chip territory. And it's interesting. I think they mention it, thing keeps popping down and my screen is very annoying. There we go. Where is the cause article?
Uh,
Yeah, you can open it up or start like commenting on it.
yeah, it just, Cause is stepping into a new role with Uniqlo as the fashion brand's first artist in residence, the latest in its ongoing series of collaborations with artists. The appointment was announced on September 15th during Fashion Week, of course, at the Museum of Modern Art. So yeah, if a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with Kaz. Some people might not be, but obviously he's got some crazy crossovers and collaborations. You just continue to see it more and more. And again, I think part of me is like, that's cool, like again, the democratization, right? I don't know if I'm saying that word right,
Yeah,
but
democratization.
exactly. Yeah, just making it more accessible to people, And again, the art world, I know, speaking from my perspective, can feel real like stuffy and exclusive. So I like the idea of just finding ways to like cross over with fashion and just provide other ways for people to express themselves and engage with the art. But it does kind of bring up an interesting thing, like what does it mean to democratize art? Is it about pricing, reach, visibility, education, or cultural literacy? Can mass retail really contribute to democratization, or is it superficial? Those are some of
That's
the
a great question. I
right.
love
I'm telling you, yeah, this one was really interesting. What was the other? I had another like the Uniqlo cause type of model. What does it mean for artistic value versus commercial value? How artists can maintain integrity, identity, and authorship within commercial partnerships. So again, I'm like, obviously, I don't know Cause personally. He's obviously getting the bag, and again, making his art like more accessible to people, which is cool.
But
But
why not?
but
It's
like
gonna be Kanye or somebody's like,
I guess yeah, to your point.
like
But
people are making these
do
deals.
people is Cause less respected in the art world now though because he's like doing something like this?
I mean, I would put being pop culture in the art world might degrade a certain aspects of people's respect for you. Like a lot of people will look at artists who mass produce works. It's not as if Kaz is sculpting every sculpture. He's manufacturing and producing these artworks. And it's so that everyone has access. So there's an argument in that way too. Like
Yeah.
many people have those sculptures sitting on their desk. Cause probably runs an operation that supports a lot of artists who are working on their art. I don't know. I don't know if I have an opinion on it, but it did remind me. Maybe I do have some opinions. I'm trying to hide them. Well, no, it reminded me because that blue chip thing, I read about something called red chip. Do you know red chip? It's
Nah.
almost like the art world's turning into like blue pill, red pill all of a sudden. Like, so red, blue chip, that's like traditional. You've like reached that level in the amongst the traditional galleries and institutions and museums and things. And like you're a blue chip artist, you're selling at a premium. And then red chip is artwork that sells at a premium because of its contemporary market based on high demand and trend
Oh, that's
uh,
crazy.
viral aspects. So
Different.
yeah, I mean it's interesting. That's just like another, but again, that's a part of that democratization. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I
Well,
think that stuff like that probably helps a lot of people.
last little question before we wrap up here. Could such partnerships help the entry point problem mentioned in the first article, collectors feeling excluded, or do they reinforce class distinctions, art for high end versus art for, as a fashion statement? So, just something to chew on. It is pretty intriguing. I don't necessarily have an opinion either way. I'm still trying to actually figure it out, I think, but I like aspects of it.
It's commercialization, commodification.
Modification. Yeah.
Drop all those liberal arts phrases, get them all in there, get them out of your system. I'm trying to make some money. I'm joking. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. I think that's something that the art world always struggles with.
Yeah. All right, man. I guess that's it. I don't want to go over time. Does it cut off automatically, or do we just?
I don't think so. I think I gotta, whoever's hosting's gotta end the stream.
All right.
So, is there
Okay.
any news you want to share? I mean, we shared just like a day ago.
Yeah, nothing too much. I do have some fun catchphrases to try out as we sign off this time.
Okay, well, if you can find the book Napoleon on on Amazon.com, and you can find the artist Drew at Drew Baby on Spotify.
Thanks.
Great music, great catalog, more to come.
Yeah.
And what's your sign off?
I want to try a couple of them. How about this
Okay.
one? You stay cultured, world. No, not so much.
Did you write this?
Let me don't ask questions. Don't worry about that. How about this one?
You stay
You stay
cultured.
priceless, art lovers. No, I got it. Well, folks, that's all for today. Remember, art is subjective, culture is unpredictable, and if your neighbor's cat starts quoting French philosophy, you might just be living in the future. You stay cultured, world.
I
That's the
think
one.
that's one.
There you go.
What
Sounds
is
like
that?
you can end that on that one. Don't ask questions. Don't worry about that.
What
Brought
is
to you by
it?
our sponsors. Boom Chicka Pop.
Oh no, not that again. We have to be serious. We're not gonna get sponsored if we're not serious. We have to,
I'm very this is real. I'm very serious. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
yeah.
serious. This is real. We talk about real things.
All right.
All right, bro. Until next time,
Yeah,
man.
until next time.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, everybody. 7 or 7:30 or 8 p.m.
All right.